So, we are at a crossroads of life. We have to change the world to survive. Believe that or not, because the actual reality of it is true. Now, I don't care if you're, black, white, or big, small, pretty or not, rich or not. I don't care. I don't care what you believe. It's your truth. It's your life. It's your eternity. It's your decision. Don't bother me with it. I don't care. But the same is true, you don't have to care about me either. I don't, it doesn't care. What is true, however, is that the people of our universities are damaging life. They're genetically mutilating nature because they say they are the religious believers of evolution, and evolution says that life is built out of chaos. So I've asked them in the past, what are you going to do when life just simply collapses because of your mutilation? And they said, well, not to worry, because in a billion years or so, evolution will just make something else. So, they can, by their sense of values, they can completely destroy life and it doesn't matter. They're just, being them. But the real, final, actual, most dangerous threat of all, because it is instantaneously capable of completely destroying us all, is the desire for them to create fusion on this earth. The fusion means that they intend to create the same fire, and they say that. They intend to create the same fire that's on the sun. They want to bring it here. And there's 130 major experiments across the world trying to do that very thing. And by doing that, they have completely destroyed the claim that they can do it safely in 2012 at Lawrence Livermore Laboratories, and they cannot. And what they are trying to do with their experiments, which is the only thing they can do, is to ignite atoms on fire. A change in energy release of 4 million times more, according to their own scientific papers. And of course, they claim that the sun has mile-long flames. And they've measured solar flares, which is, plumes of light coming out from the sun that's 12 million miles long. So this is not a game. This is not, me versus them. This is knowledge versus the realities of fantasy. And so I have created a lawsuit, once again, even though the court has thrown me out of filing anything. We're going to do it again because I'm a citizen that is guaranteed constitutional rights, and I intend to claim them. But that doesn't mean it will go through, because, it's just like facing a man with a gun. He says, I don't care. That's the end of the story, because he has the power to make a decision that you don't want him to make. Nonetheless, that doesn't matter, because eternity does matter. And what we do with our life and what we do with our world matters. And so they're gambling the university claim of people who were your former classmates. They claim they're God. They know what they're doing. They claim all kinds of things about how the sun works, but can prove absolutely none of them. And in fact, they're actually completely delusional about their facts and about what they claim, and there's absolutely no proof of any kind that they know anything. And there's absolute proof that they're actually lying and fantasizing about things that do not exist, and claiming things that do not exist. And they're gambling with our lives on this planet, because the ignition of a nuclear fire, which burns atoms then, which releases the energy that's in an atom, like an atomic bomb that just won't quit, that energy is what powers the sun. Now we know that's true because the sun cannot function in any other way. Without that 4 million times more increase in energy, the sun would not affect us, and we know that it affects us. We know that it burns our bodies in the summer with radiation. We know the radiation is real. And we know that we're burning we're completely destroying ozones, primarily at this moment with planes, jet planes that burn ozone to ignite their fuel and release 1 billion BTUs of heat with every plane flight of the millions that they use. But nonetheless, what I'm doing here is informing you that unless we gather together as a world, unless we accept the identity that our decision matters, that if we don't stop the people who are gambling with our lives and our world and our nature and our everything, if we do not stop them, which is our duty to do, then they will kill us. They will kill us all because their gamble is with everything. Their gamble is with our entire world and our entire planet and our entire future. Everything. Child, doesn't matter, everything. So if we want to stop them, in this America, we have to use the legal constitutional right called redress of grievances. That's our legal law. That is the law. They will not enforce it in a courtroom because they claim that, because they're silent, and they threw me out for that reason because they didn't like the fact that I was gathering information against them and the power that is in this nation with money that is corrupting this nation because they have control over the currency, and media doesn't tell you of inflation. They tell you the cost of goods, and the cost of goods is not inflation. The inflation is the amount of currency that is being used. And inflation is, we have roughly $700 trillion of currency in use. That's divided by 350 million citizens, means that every single human face in this nation has, if we divided it equally, $2 million. Did you get your money? I didn't get mine. They took away our securities so they could spend it for themselves. And of course, that's exactly what the universities did. And to keep you silent, because it's hard to launder that much money without somebody noticing, they give it to you in Wall Street and things like that so that you don't complain. But nonetheless, our legal right to a solution that we decide for ourselves now, that we decide that we are not going to allow the people who are threatening our lives, our world, our planet, our everything, our nature, our child, everything, we can decide to stop them by ourselves, by investigating the truth. We don't need to believe in me. We don't need to believe in them. We need to identify what is true. And that means we take them to court and demand, without any release of any kind for anyone, that you explain to us exactly how you are going to ignite a nuclear fire on this planet, just like the sun, and control it, because they say, well, gravity will extinguish the fire. That's what they say. That's what they claim. That is their only plan. Gravity will extinguish the fire. But it's a 1,000,000-mile long flame, and if they're wrong, we all are incinerated. And we all live on a planet that turns into Hades for us, which is the terror of eternity. In other words, your life will not be released in death. It just remains in the fire. But that, apart from that, our decision, and I'm presenting a lawsuit next week, which may or may not go through because, of who they are. And the judiciary says we cannot decide this matter because we are not experts in this field. But they decide everything else. And the end result of that is that we have to decide for ourselves because the judiciary is not going to help us. The power of government stands over them and controls what they do or say, so that the power of those who have the money, who created the money, who gave the money to themselves, are against us. They want what they want, and they want to play God. That's all they want. They want to play God. They want to believe they are God. And they demand to be God over life and death and world and nature and everything else. Just like Satan would be described as a religious term. It is destroyer of a world, and they are certainly the destroyers of our world. They are destroying nature by adding chaos to it. They are poisoning all the water supplies. They are doing everything they can to destroy life on earth, to destroy this nation, and they have almost succeeded. There is very little left that they haven't completely construed to abandon and destroy. Your garbage mountains prove that the future doesn't exist for children. Those resources are gone. They don't exist. It's a finite planet. What are they going to do? But that too doesn't matter. What matters is that we have the law called redress in this United States of America. At this moment in time, it's a constitutional law, which means the judiciary has no effect on it whatsoever because their claim of power is underneath the Constitution. They don't have any power over the Constitution. That is a lie. So we own the legal right to demand our own investigation of the facts, to demand our own courtroom, and to vote accordingly to what we find in that truth about what we are going to allow these university people to do. We can stop them. We can create a moratorium that says you can't do anything until we decide. We can, enforce that across the world if we want to. But we are humanity, and we have to do it together. You can't do it alone. I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. We have to do it together, or we die together. It's a choice. And of course, I'm not absolutely saying to you that you can't let them continue. I'm saying to you they have to prove what they say that they can prove, that they can control the fire they once ignite. That's all. They have to prove to us all that they can control the fire that they ignite, because it's the same fire that's on the sun. And if they don't control the fire that's on the sun that they ignite here, we all burn to death. Because it's a planet made out of fuel. Everything is an atom. And if they're burning atoms, that means you are fuel too. We can't control it. And gravity is not the answer. In fact, the solar gravity that the sun produces is from the flame. So the end result is you have to accept the idea that you have to get off your ass, and you have to enforce the fact that we have redress of grievances as a legal tool in our arsenal of things that we can do to protect ourselves. And we have to know what is true or what is not true, and we have to vote on whether or not we let the people who are in our universities gamble with all life on earth. That's the deal. Either you get up off your ass and you go ahead and you do what you can do, legally do. There is no point in trying to kill somebody. It is not a one-person thing. It's not a leader thing. It's a whole world of universities, 130 major experiments, trillions of dollars spent doing right now. Right now, they're trying to ignite the same fire that's on the sun here on this planet. They believe they're going to be saviors. They believe that this is the solution for the future. This is how we're going to create electricity and what have you. But they're wrong, because they can't control the fire any more than they can control the sun. They can't do it. And you need to have them identify to you how they're going to control the sun. How are they going to do that? How are they going to control the same fire that's on the sun? And they say as they tried, already proven false that it's fusion, that they can just put two hydrogen atoms together and create helium, and that's where all the heat comes from. But that's a complete lie, and it doesn't hold any merit, and it's already been proven wrong in 2012 at Lawrence Livermore Laboratories in San Francisco. They proved it was false, but they continue because there's trillions of dollars at stake, and they all want a job, and they all want the power, and they all want to say, I'm a god, I'm going to save the planet. Look at me. Well, we're looking at you. So explain to us all exactly how you're going to do that without burning us to death. That's the point. How are you going to do that without burning us to death? You have no right to gamble, and we have a legal right to stop you, as is our duty to this life, to this planet, to this world. Whether you like me or not, I don't care. I don't care. But whether we all burn or not, I care. And so do you, whether you know it or not. Don't believe, demand the truth. So this is my website, www.jamesfosterbur.com. You'll find the lawsuit there, and a link to this video there as well. And you have to decide whether or not you're going to do anything to protect life on Earth. And that would include, we're going to identify whether evolution is true or not, because it's a complete lie. They have absolutely no evidence of any kind, and just saying this looks like that is just not enough. That doesn't prove anything other than the fact that they're liars and fools. So make up your mind. Are you going to fight for life on this planet? And I've been fighting for an entire lifetime. I have. Because the end result is that we cannot just let the planet die. It's our duty not to let the planet die. It's our duty not to let nature be completely destroyed. It's our duty not to let them ignite a fire they cannot possibly control, just like the sun here on Earth. It is our duty to find the truth in these matters. And it is our duty to accept the fact that we are miracles of life. Miracles that thought created for us. Miracles of law and truth and never chaos. Miracles in every sense of the word. And if you don't stop the insanity of fools in university, we have no life left. You have to do it. Because I am just one person out of 9 billion people. Think about that. 9 billion people. 9,000 groups of 1 million people each. Kill 1 million people, that's 1 out of every 9,000 of us. Literally. So, don't tell me I can change the world. We have to change the world. We have to recognize the tragedy of where we are, because the universities created this problem for us. They changed nature, but they didn't change the truth of what we did. They changed it. And now we have to face our truth. We have to face our reality. We have to face the consequences of what has been done, because we cannot change that. We can only do what we can do right now with what we have left. It's a choice. Try to make a choice for life. try to, it doesn't, you can't run away from igniting a planet on fire. You can't hide. There's no place to go. This is our world, and this is their world dying, killing us. This is the university in action. This is what the university does. This is the end of our life. This is the end of our world. This is the end of our planet. Don't tell me that you believe them. Make them prove what is and is not true, and then we will decide as humanity on earth if we can let them be wrong. If we can let them be wrong, you have to decide that. You have to fight for that, because if you don't fight for it, it's already done. So make up your mind. Can you fight for life on earth or not? By law, we need to go to the courtroom. We need to go and remove all of their lies and all of their, all of the funding that they make for themselves. We need to remove their control over government. We need to stop the university from killing us. It's what they do. And it's why we are called, they're called Satan on earth. And it's why the cult of their believers is a satanic cult. Does that include you? Are you going to believe? Or are you going to make them prove what is and is not true about what they say they can and cannot do? We have to decide if we let our world die because they're wrong. That's the choice. And we have a lawsuit that says redress of grievances, and that means that we have the right to decide for ourselves. So that's what we're going to enforce. That's the purpose of the lawsuit, to create redress of grievances in this USA, with the world watching, so that we can all decide for ourselves if this is or this is not going to happen. We have to decide right now, because any second they could ignite a fire that will consume our entire planet, because they cannot control a fire that burns atoms, an atomic bomb that just won't quit. Think about it, because that's what they're doing. And they're, throwing out all the law. They claim that the sun burns on the inside, really, really hot. But if that were true, all of the fuel is on fire. And if all the fuel is on fire, it cannot sustain itself. They claim magic. Well, magic is a lie. It is a truth that we burn the atoms on the sun to create that heat. That's the only possible solution there is. And make them prove me wrong. Make them prove it's not an atomic fire. Make them prove their claim of magic and elements that do not exist is right. It's your job. It's your planet. It's your child. It's your world. And they're going to extinguish it and exterminate you if they're wrong.